Hello children, welcome all to science lecture. Today we are starting with the new chapter, light. What is the meaning of light? Children, light is a form of energy that can be detected by the human eye, and also it enables us to see different objects. Visible light is a light wave that you can see. It is a mixture of all the colors of the rainbow, and we are able to see different objects around us because of presence of light. So we can say that light is a form of energy that enables us to see objects around us. So in the absence of light, we cannot see anything. Next is reflection of light. Whenever a ray of light falls on an object, it returns back, and this bouncing back of ray of light into the same medium when it strikes a surface is called as reflection of light. We have studied in lower classes that light always travels in a straight line. So this ray of light traveling in a straight line, whenever falls on an object, it reflects back, it bounces back, which we call as reflection. And while doing this, the ray of light always follows certain laws of reflection. And those laws of reflection, before studying the laws of reflection, we must learn some terms. There are certain terms which we are going to use while studying laws of reflection. So let's have a look at those terms here. As you can see, this is a plane mirror, and here we have one ray which is falling on the plane mirror. This ray which is falling on the mirror is called as incident ray. After it falls on the mirror, it is bouncing back, right? As you can see here, it is falling on the mirror, and then again it bounces back in the same medium, and this ray which is bouncing back is called as reflected ray, right? After that, this point at which this reflection is taking place is called as point of incidence. Now here we have a normal. Normal is nothing but it is a straight line. As here, this is a straight line which is a perpendicular line drawn at point of incidence. And when we draw this perpendicular line at point of incidence, we are getting two angles, one here and other here. These two angles are termed as angle of incidence and angle of reflection. As it is very clear here, this angle of incidence is the angle which is formed by incident ray and the normal. And angle of reflection is the angle here formed by reflected ray and the normal. So these are some terms. Now how to define these terms? As read here. First is incident ray, ray of light that come into the mirror. The ray of light which is falling on the mirror is termed as incident ray. Second is reflected ray. The ray of light that bounces off the mirror is called as reflected ray. Third, normal. It is the line perpendicular to the mirror at point of incidence. Number 4, angle of incidence. It is the angle between incident ray and the normal. And last, angle of reflection, which is angle between reflected ray and the normal. And the second figure here, this is the incident ray which is falling at the point of incidence. This is reflected ray. This is the line drawn perpendicular, which is normal. Here is the angle of incidence formed between incident ray and normal, and here is the angle of reflection formed by normal and reflected ray. I hope these terms are clear. Now, if you are clear with these terms, we go to the next topic, laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection which are followed by all the rays of light falling on any object. First law is the angle of reflection is equal to the angle of incidence. Whatever object it is, the angle of incidence, which we symbolize as I, is always equal to angle of reflection, which we symbolize as small r. So angle I is always equal to angle r. That means the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. This is the first law. Second law, the incident ray, here the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal always lie on the same plane. They always lie in the same plane. It is not possible to have incident ray on one surface and reflected ray on the other surface, right? So therefore, this is the second law of reflection, which states that the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal always lie on the same plane. There are two types of reflections depending on what type of object on which the rays of light are falling. First type of reflection is regular reflection, which is seen in case of smooth surfaces. When the rays of light fall on a smooth surface, the reflected rays are all the reflected rays, as you can see here, all are returning back in the same direction. So here the incident rays are parallel to each other, and so are the reflected rays. Reflected rays are also parallel to each other. This type of reflection is called as regular reflection, which takes place on smooth, polished, shiny surfaces. And other type of reflection is irregular reflection, also termed as diffuse reflection, which takes place on rough surfaces. Because here the incident ray, even though the incident rays are parallel, the reflected rays are not parallel. They reflect back into any direction. They return back in different directions. This is the difference between regular reflection and irregular reflection. So this is all for today. Today we have learnt what is light, definition of reflection of light, the laws of reflection, and two types of reflection, regular reflection and diffuse